Oh, now it's clicking record. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Is it just for the time being? Didn't you say that just for the time being? He's small, but he's going to expand. Or didn't you say that everything that he's going to be, both begashnius or baruchnius, and everything that he will be masi, and everything that will occur l'toivo in his life, is hidden in that embryo. And I mean, it's not just a question of developing something small into being, but it's an union of bringing out a tremendous cloud that's got everything which is going to be and grow out in that person's life. It's all there in the embryo, and it's just a question of it going through a series of developments. Yeah, which basically has got to do with the developments of the cave. And then the oils come out and they fill up the cave. It's a most amazing idea. So that's the Indian of Rosh Chodesh. The Rebbe says that first Nakuda, or the Lavona, is not just a very small moon which grows into a big moon. That is a Nakuda which has got everything what the Lavona is and it's going to be. Because she's been reborn. If she's been reborn, then the word reborn has to be a true marshal, just like the embryo. Everything that's going to ever be with the Lavona is hidden in that thing, and it's just got to unfold itself. Remember, that means that when we say in the Kiddush Lavona blessing, when we Kaddish Lavona, which we'll be doing on Moed Shabbat, by the way, hopefully, Be'ez Hashem, we say over there that the moon, it's a new moon, it's going to come out and blossom and so on, and Yidden are also going to do the same thing. Sheheim asidim leischadesh k'moisa. What is the connection with the Lavona? That they are going to be renewed in the future, just like the Lavona is. So we see from that integral connection between the Yidden and the Lavona. And so what's the lesson? They're going to, in the future, develop. Shaheim asidim leischadesh k'moisa. Now that's referring to Moshiach. That's referring to the time of Moshiach. And then Yidden are going to be like the Lavona. And what's going to happen with the Lavona? The Lavona is going to be 7 times the size of the sun. Not only it's going to get back to being like the sun, it's going to be 7 times more than what it was like at the beginning. And that's just what do you say? A modest estimation. Yeah, exactly how much is hidden in that. There's a Rashi in Masechta Sanhedrin. Rashi says it could be 7 times, so it could be multiplied several times. This whole Shiva Sayim, it's like a very interesting word, like a multiple 7s, Shiva Sayim. That could mean that the 7's going to, how do you call it, lachpilas, to double itself by multiplication. Mm-hmm. Anyway, whatever, we see that the sun and the moon are going to expand into the light they were at the time of creation, and the moon's going to become the Ikar. The moon's going to become the emes, source of Dashboard, and that's what's going to happen to Eden. That's what we say in the bracha. Sheheim asidim leishchadish k'moisa, the Eden are going to renew themselves. Well, remember, what do we mean by they're going to renew themselves? They're going to be like the moon, on a kuda, and that's going to expand into, it's not just small getting big, but it's a incomparable passage into something incomparably greater than what the Nakuda indicates. Remember, that's the connection between Yidden with the holding of Rosh Chodesh and the holding of Kiddush Chodesh. Remember, it says the Rabbi Lefi said, it follows, and there's certain other inyanim also which we brought down in the last year that indicate that Rosh Chodesh is connected ultimately, and not just ultimately, but very integrally with the holding of the Gula Shlema. Because we compare Yidden to the moon, And we said, this is what's going to happen with the moon. And we bless and we bring a Tosefes Kiddush into the Levana, yeah, because all this is going to happen to the Levana, yeah, when Moshiach will come, and Yidden are going to be like that. We see that the bracha doesn't just be misasei with the etzem fact that the Levana is mechadish achshav nowadays, but that it's also going to be this tremendous addition to the Levana liyosid lovay, and Yidden are going to be parallel. And the whole aliyah which is going to occur is going to occur to Yidden in a similar way. It follows what he said, that the whole Yidden of Kiddush Levana is connected very intimately with the Moshiach, with the Gula Shlema. The Rebbe draws up from that another point. If that's the case, then we could say that this infinitesimal Nakuda, which is the beginning of the after the later, this Nakuda, and which is there also by an Embryo, we just pointed out, the Rebbe says we could suggest that there's another Nakuda which finds itself in every Yid. And that is that every Yid has got in himself a Nakuda of Mashiach. And that's brought down, not in a Chabad Sefer, that's brought down in the Me'er Inam from the Reb Nachum Chernobyl, in Pasha Pinchas, that's Yidua. He writes the whole thing that every Yid has got a nitzot v'nishmosei v'nishmosei shel Melech HaMashiach. And the other Rebbe, he adds over there, this Reb Nachum Chernobyl, he adds that every Yid has got to build that as much as he can into a full blossoming, not just a Nakuda. And if he will blossom his Nakuda into a very expanding, as we said, integral production from the Nakuda, if he will do that, and other Yidden will do that, then it's all going to, as it were, merge together, and it's going to be like Moshiach. In other words, all Yidden are going to, as it were, contribute to Moshiach's matzah, to his neshama. Even though he points out over there, the Rebbe brings on many occasions, that Moshiach is going to be a...
Sorry. I can't. Sorry. I try.
As Anna said,
your computer doesn't recognize that.
No, it's the ink, the tunnel. My tunnel is not working. Sorry.
Okay,
one time, maybe somebody can read it. תסתכל ולתת תצלח מנוס.
הצלחה רבה.
באמת שוקר. אם יהיה לך הזדמנות לבדוק באוטו ונגיע
אני עכשיו אבדוק, עכשיו אני אבדוק.
כי זה נעלם לגמרי מהמציאות.
אני אבדוק את זה, אני אשלח לך בטלפון אחרי 9 מתי אתם מסיימים? מתי אתם מסיימים?
אנחנו גומרים אחרי 9.
9:30 אני אתקשר אליך.
אתה תתקשר ב9:30?
כן.
יכול להיות שאנחנו נהיה פה ב9.
לא, אני צריך לבוא לסגור.
בסדר. אוקיי. אז אומר, what it comes out is that since there's this Indian of the Levana becoming an Nakuda, and that's an Nakuda not just but that's an Nakuda which is koilel in itself everything that's going to be with the Levana, and all the perfection. It's not just a small thing getting bigger, and the same when a person's born, and a person means every one of Yidden, and you've got in yourself a nitzot of Moshiach, which is a similar idea. So that it connects that the birth of the moon, which is part of your birth also on Rosh Chodesh, as a Yid, that's connected with this Nakuda of Moshiach. And really what happens is that the Nakuda of Moshiach and the etzem Nakuda of what you are, meet together, and they become like one Indian. Well, how can I say that? Because that's what the bracha says. The bracha says that we're going to be renewed like the Levana in the time of the Geula. So, we said that happens every time there's a Rosh Chodesh. There's like an arousal of that whole Indian, that didn't have in themselves this etzem, tika nakuda, and that's the nakuda of Moshiach, and that's connected with the whole of the coming into being of the Lavona, and therefore the Alter Rebbe writes in Pasha Yisroi in Torah Oyer, that on Erev Rosh Chodesh, the Avodah Vayid is mamish to lose his whole previous Matthias and to start all over again. He's got to be, as it were, reborn. And if you're reborn, you're a whole new Matthias. You start off from that Nakuda, and who knows that there can be something incomparably greater and better than what you were in the previous one. And on there, the Rebbe connects that with the whole idea of this nitzot, or this Nakuda of Mashiach that's inside everyone. That's where we were holding in the last class. And that has an effect on the whole world. That means that Yidden, as they are, Moshiach is something that's going to happen to the whole world. As it were, this Nakuda, which is inside Yidden, it is their Inyan, which is going to get to their Matthias, but it's also going to get to the whole world. It's going to affect and develop the whole world. And that's why the Rebbe says, why we say, both in the Kriyas HaTorah, and we bring it down in Musaf when we pray, we say, U'b'roshei chodshei chem. On your Rosh Chodeshes, you have to do kakva, we have to bring such and such korbanos. So the Rebbe said, why is it your Rosh Chodesh to say? Like all the Yavim Toimim, on this and this day in the month, or this and this day you do kakva kak. Why is it Roshei chodshei chem, your Rosh Chodesh? Because everything on Rosh Chodesh becomes revealed that the whole Rosh Chodesh shot to the Matthias, Amidias of a Yid, and how he is an effect on the whole world. So it's really his Rosh Chodesh. It's not just, how do you call it, a thing that happens. It's shot to Yid, and it's in their very Matthias. And that was called their Rosh Chodesh. That's an amazing idea, and absolutely mind-boggling Indian. And now the Rebbe goes on to say, unfortunately we don't have any copies, we have to just like...
I have a sefer with me.
You have a book?
Yeah.
Very good. Now we go on like this. So the Rebbe said, V'yesh loima, we could suggest even further, שבראש חודש מסגלה בכל אחד ואחד מישראל ניצוץ משיח שבוי. That dino I just spoke about is begilui. Helikot comes out begilui. בכל אחד ואחד מישראל. שהיא ניצוץ מבחינת יחידה הכלולית. It's not just his yechida, but his yechida is part of the yechida haklolit. Since it's a nitzot of Moshiach, it's brought down in the kuntus, the famous kuntus that the Rebbe wrote, what did he call it, in Yonishal, Teres Achsidus, that the Rebbe says over there that the Moshiach is the yechida klolius of the whole klal. So he's the bechinas yechida, and he's the yechida of all Yidden. If your nitzot of Mashiach becomes Messiah in this special way on Rosh Chodesh, then it's part of the whole Yechida HaKlolius, Nishmosei Shel Mashiach. He's literally part of and included in the Neshama of Mashiach. Gilui Zeh Poyo Chidush B'chol Metziusoi. That causes a new Chidush, newness. Chidush, like we were saying, Chodesh or Rosh Chidush, or by a nemes Chidush, but that causes a Chidush B'chol Metziusoi, or B'chol Inyono. Everything that he does, if he realizes that on this day of Rosh Chodesh, he's becoming, as it were, revealed with the Etzem Neshama Zaina, which is the Yechida, and that's becoming Niklal in the whole Neshama of Mashiach, then he understands that that's going to affect him in a way that he becomes new. He becomes like a new and a different Matthias altogether, and that's going to affect the whole. He becomes like, we spoke about this morning, he becomes like a source of hashpur to the whole world. That's the Lashon of Baroshei Chodshei Kachem. He said, "V'gilu izeh poyo chidush b'kol mitzios b'chol inyono shenasim chadurim b'chinas hayechida." Everything on the day of Rosh Chodesh becomes penetrated by this amazing nakuda which we've discussed of your yechida. V'aike, what's principle of that? Shali deizeh, nasi his galas will be as Mashiach tzidkenu. Since that's his yechida coming out, and that's happening by not only by him, but by other Yidden as well, and all Yidden, and they're all joining together and becoming nikla in the neshama of Mashiach. So what's to stop? There's nothing there to prevent the actual gilui of Mashiach. Rosh Chodesh is a day where it makes sense to say that Mashiach is going to come, or should come. Why? Because all these parts of his neshama are all joining up within him. He's becoming, as it were, built fully. As if he becomes built fully, then there he is. Yeah? So the Rebbe said, Shali Deizeh, Nasi is Galus, Ubiyash Mashiach Tzidkenu, Vi'ad Kipshute. Until the simple shot that he comes, Mamish Biyash Mashiach Tzidkenu, Neshama B'guf, that Mashiach will be Kipshute, a person, a Neshama inside a guf, Melech mi Beis David Uchol B'Rosh Rambam, you'll be a Melech mi Beis David, and Beis David means kings that were in the world, and he's going to be a king that comes from them. Well, according to the Rabbi Rashab, in certain places, he's going to mamish be like David HaMelech. He's going to be like a reincarnation in a very amazing way of David HaMelech. Al Hamera, as far as Lafi said, that Rosh Chodesh is the day for you expressing yourself in your most unlimited way through this amazing nakuda which links into Mashiach and Neshama, and nothing to prevent Mashiach appearing on that day. And that's what should really happen. Al Hamera says the Rebbe Inyan Zeh, Mudgash B'Yezeh, Rosh Chodesh Kislev. Now we're getting down to business. The Rebbe says that this whole we just discussed is more in emphasis on Rosh Chodesh Kislev more than other months for Moshe. So he says that Shmoi Shel HaChodesh Kislev Shekoilo Beis HaTeves. The Kislev is made up of two words, Case and Lamed Vav. In Toshinun, the Rebbe said a sita about Kislev, and there he said that sometimes, and in certain letters, in Gedolei Yisrael and others, we find Kislev written with a base after the Lamed, Kislev, and the Rebbe said it was two words, K-Slev. And there he spoke a whole big Indian about that. Now he's saying the same basic idea, but he's leaving it like the more usual way you write it, Kislev with a vav. So he said that K-Slave means case is Mari ala Helem Bakisui. Yeah, the Indian that the Lebanon's gone away and lost all the tears. Yeah, that's why you remember we said the two Lashanas that are written by Negeh to Yonis and Dovan, that Yonis said that Malchus Chodesh, when Nifkadata, you will get a tremendous new hashpoah, min hashamayim, ki yipokei Moshe Bercha, because you're going to be in a state of not being there, as it were, a from bittul, like a from complete bittul. So the case indicates how the helem of Kisrael, the Lavona, goes away. Yipokei Moshe Bercha, like it was written by David, that everything goes away, mamish into a from nothing, as it were. Yeah, והלם וכיסוי יפוקי, והלמד ווב, שמספור 36, למד ווב, הגימטריה דאלה, Eila is also למד ווב, the word Eila is למד ווב, and Eila means a for gilui, a real gilui is expressed in the word these. You can only say these about something that's there. For example, these glasses, because they're there. If they're not there, I can't say these glasses. The word these doesn't fit, only with a gilui. More ala gilui, the moiled, we said the chidesh of the Lavona is moiled, ahina from birth, with all we spoke about earlier. He said, v'nifkadato, that's going to bring a whole new, how they call it, ashpur, which begins with the birth. V'nifkadato, kavisha koilo kol ha'hemshech she'ach l'iteh. Everything which is going to be afterwards is there in that nakuda, so that's called the whole new ashpur. Roish, just like a head is the main and governing power over the whole body, So this nakuda, as it were, governs everything, it's going to come out. Ad l'shleimus hagiloi, until it comes into full revelation. You see, the whole protein yonim the shisha midas, kafisha klulish, kol echad mishisha midas. Well, it's well known that all the midas lamaila are all biskalas. So if you have a misbah 36, that means 6 midas, and every midah is called from the other one. Yeah, so that's another times 6. So 6 times 6 is 36. Well, that means that all the ikka midas are begilui. Well, that's the Indian of Eile, also the gematria 36. Well, that indicates that there's an Indian of complete gilui. So the Rebbe said, you've got a combination of case, the Indian from Helim, with complete gilui. That nakuda that we're talking about here is not just a nakuda which is like a beginning. In Kislev, right from the very beginning, it's there. It's not a nakuda anymore, but it's like the full recognition of the whole nakuda right from the very moment at the beginning. In other words, or maybe the nakuda is hidden in the word case, or but the actual poyum. And therefore the Rebbe said in another month, all you've got is kesser, the Indian of covenant, but you don't have Lamed Vav. So what you have is kesser with a hay, or you can write kesser with a aleph. So aleph is the first of the alphabet. So that indicates that you've got the start of a process, but it's got to get moving yet. That's Rosh Chodesh. It's like there in the form of a nakuda, it's got to get moving. Here you've got the nakuda which has already got moving. It's already come out in the full gilui. Come to us that here in Kislev, right from the very beginning, you've got the full development which is going to come about, hidden in the beginning. So it's an amazing idea that it's potential, and yet Maisadik goes together. It's like a combination of so therefore the Rebbe said, what you say to me? He said, even more than that, Shebekislev, Yamudgash in Yonishal Rosh Chodesh, Yosef Me'asher Rosh Chodesh Tam. He said, even more, in Kislev, the whole Inyan of Rosh Chodesh is more expressible in Kislev than any other month. So he said, Rosh Chodesh Tam, Ubo even the Bekeseh. Yeah, but like we said, everything is hidden in the new birth of the Levant. Kamoi, he said, Rosh Hashanah. Ba'kesa l'yom chagenu. So he said, Shepirus ha'yam ba'kesa, we have with the aleph. Over there, the Matzudas Tzion writes that you can also write kesa with a hay or with the aleph. So therefore, it's possible for it to also be with aleph. So he said, Miloshin case aleph. Sha'a aleph, יש על אחרי הקייס, אחרי the Helim, moire rachal hascholus agilui. Aleph is the beginning of the gilui, so it's very appropriate with the case. First of all, the Helim, and then the beginning of the gilui, and we'll go further on, and we'll develop it. But he said here in Kislev, it's not like that. He said, "Bedugmas Aleph shehi hascholus oizi, ma sheikim bekislev case lamed vav." Mudgeshes gam miles v'shleimus agilui b'kol proti hamidas shahim lamed vav. Even right from the very beginning, in the nakuda, you've already got the whole lot, as it were, begoled. So it's like an amazing, almost like paradoxical gilui of the helim and the shleimus right from the beginning.
In a normal month, it goes gradually till Tesvov, no? Till the 15th.
Yeah, in a kind of Lamed Vav means the full revelation.
No, but normally it goes gradually till Tesvov.
Yeah,
See,
till Tesvov. Yeah, here it doesn't have to go gradually. Here it's already there right from the very beginning. Mashachin, the Yaschola is there on another month, but it's got to develop. So here it also develops with the going of the month, but it develops from a nakuda which has got the whole thing there, Bagalui, below it.
Nakuda has any case, the whole thing. And Nakuda normally.
It has it in the form of a tremendous potentiality. It's not in the state of Gilui.
But here you've got the Gilui and the Hell together?
In the nakuda you've got the Gilui already there.
The we can be massive?
So it's already begun to reveal itself for what it really is in its full shleimus. So he said, "Mizeh muvan, yesh Rosh Chodesh Kislev, mudgash inyan hagiula." From all this we can understand that it's emphasized the inyan of the Gula Shlema, Sheheim Hasidim Leishchadishke Moisa, that Yidden are going to renew themselves at the time of the Gila, like the moon, but even Naili Yoisa Meyasha B'chol Rosh Chodesh. Yeah, Loirach has Cholas Hagilui, Keis Aleph, Elegam Shleimas Hagilui, Keis Lamed. Well, in other words, that what is the whole inyan of the Gula Shlema? That everything's going to express itself. Yeah, is Chadish, it's going to be like Chidush Alavona B'Shleimuza. So he said, you've already got the Shleimas in Kislev, on Rosh Chodesh itself, you have already the Shleimas there. You've got the Lamed Vav, which indicates the Shleimas. You've already got it there, even though it's not in full etzem expression, but it's much more than in another month, because another month only indicates the beginning, and here you've got the whole thing there, below. The Rebbe said that's indicatory of the Gula Shlema right from the beginning, because the Gula Shlema is the perfection of a whole new Chiddush where everything's going to be in the form of perfection. He said that's already there in Rosh Chodesh Kislev. Said Rosh Chodesh Kislev is a pretty amazing sort of a day when the Gula Shlema and the hints of the Gula Shlema are tremendously open and tremendously emphasized on that day. And particularly, like he said earlier, the Rebbe, and I brought you down from the Gemara, and it's also brought in the Ramah. The Ramah brings it in Shulchan Aruch, that every Rosh Chodesh is like a simon they used to send, or they used to send. Once when they told Rabbi Gamliel to go from Yavne to another place, and he was going to arrive on Rosh Chodesh, and it's connected with Yom Kippur and the whole Ma'aseh, he sent like a sign and a message that he's coming in reference to Rosh Chodesh, and in reference to counting, how we count the Chodesh, and he sent a simon, David Melech Yisrael Chai V'Kayu. That's what he sent. And he knew that people would understand that this got to do with Rosh Chodesh. So there's ever since what's got to do one with the other. The whole inyan of Rosh Chodesh is David Melech Yisrael Chai V'Kayu.
Like we're saying,
the whole inyan of the Geula is an essential part of Rosh Chodesh.
It means Rosh Chodesh Kislev, Mashiach is mehr mesugel to come, or bechlal in the month of Kislev? Mashiach is mehr mesugel to be revealed, and Rosh Chodesh Kislev more than other Rosh.
It's really there. The whole inyan of what Rosh Chodesh is. Any Rosh Chodesh.
Any Rosh Chodesh, but that even more.
Over here, it's an infinite scholars. Everything is there. Lamed Vav. What that indicates the Shleimas, what it's going to be in the time of Mashiach. What the Gula Shlema really implies and what Rosh Chodesh really imply come together on Rosh Chodesh Kislev in the form of Rosh Shlema. So he says, "Ve'inyan ha'geula modiash gam b'hayomim tovim d'Chodesh Kislev." He said not only just in Rosh Chodesh, but also in the Yomim Tovim which occur during Kislev. So here the Rebbe says like this: "Hayontav the Choismon, the Yontav that comes at the end of Kislev, Yontav the Chanukah, Al Shem. Why is it called Chanukah? The Lashon Chanukah is Al Shem Chanukah's HaMizbeah VaMikdash B'zman Ba'asheni." It's well known that when the Greeks came in, they ruined everything. They also ruined the Mizbeach, and they ruined the whole Heichal and everything. So it was like a rebuilding and a reinitiation of the whole Beis HaMikdash Hasheni. And that's why we call it Chanukah. That's one of the reasons that we call it Chanukah, according to certain of the great Rishonim. Yeah, because we're remembering and we're celebrating the Chanukas Chashmonai. That's to say, the re-celebration of the whole, how do you call it, what's the word, housewarming, like of the Beis HaMikdash. Yeah, and that took place all over again, even though it was many years after the Beis HaMikdash had already been established, because it had been ruined by the Greeks. And therefore, the Kumtei said, Rosh Chodesh, Kislev, has got in itself a yontav at the end. You sort of complete the whole Kislev with a yontav which got to do with rebuilding the Beis the Beis Hamikdash, and celebrating that rebuilding as well known. The Chinuch, the Chanukah, goes together with a lot of, how do you call it, pomp and splendor. It's like a restarting. It's like it was when they built the Beis Hamikdash Rishon. Shlomo made a whole Indian for 2 weeks. It went on. It was unbelievable celebrations. They even ate on Yom Kippur. The famous upon him. So the Rebbe said that's Chanukah's Chashmonai. He said, "Va'ad l'chidish ha'ikri v'achanukah the Beis Hamikdash ha'shlishi." So he said there's even some opinions that they hold us all connected. That the Chanukah, the Bayis Sheni, is connected with what's going to be the Chanukah, the Bayis Shlishi. But since that's, they're all the Bate Mikdash are all connected, and therefore the fact that we rebuild a new Beis Hamikdash, and that's the Eden how it was in Bayis Sheni, links up with the whole idea of the Bayis Shlishi, because that's a new Beis Hamikdash, and that'll be the Geula Amitis Vashlema על ידי משיח צדקנו. כי מרומז גם בחידש שבמספר 18 ימי Hanukkah. He said it's also hidden and nirmaz in the fact that Hanukkah is 8 days. So he said, Lagabi Shivas Ayomim the Pesach v'Sukkah. There's also Shmini Yomim v'Sukkah, that's Shmini Atzeres. So the Rebbe points out in the footnote that Shmini Atzeres is another Yontav altogether, it's not Sukkah. It's a Yontav with Miyatzmai, and it's just got a certain kesher with Inyonim, and therefore we call it Shmini Atzeres. But it's a new Yontav, the Gabriel. Therefore Sukkot as a Yontav is only 7 days. And he said Pesach is only 7 days. And he said V'amispa Shmoinas Neiros Chanukah also. Not just the number of days we keep, but also we light 8 lights. The Gabi Shivas Haneros B'Maneros Shabamidot Shabo Ira Haner, the Shemen. So it's wondrous that the Nes happened in the menorah, the Beis Hamikdash, and in the Beis Hamikdash there was only 7 Neros. And yet nonetheless the way we keep it, Ladoras, we light 8 Neros, but that indicates the Mila of the Union of the Shmoyne. So therefore he says, Chidush Anasa. How did that happen? If the whole Nes only occurred in the menorah, how come we light 8 lights? The menorah had only 7 lights. And this is brought down at Siddur, this question. Also in Sforim. The Rebbe says that happened, that's a Chidush that came mostly due to Avidosim Shal Yisrael. In other words, who made the extra day and who was Metaking the whole, that was Yidden. The union of Chanukah is a Yontav to Rabbanon. It's not a Yontav Midoraisa. So that's the Koach of the Rabbanon. Who added the extra day and who made the 8 of the whole thing? Well, that was Yidden. Yidden did that. So that indicates that your avodah during Chanukah has to be B'hisofa al Shleimus Abriya B'shivas Yemei Habinyon. Shivas Yemei Habinyon means the 7 days of creation. The Alter Rebbe calls them in Paragimel in Tanit Shivas Yemei Habinyan. So we see that that's an addition, even like the whole creation. The whole creation took 7 days. Here it takes 8 days to get really expressed. You have to have an extra day. So the Rebbe said that the weight of the Rabbanon is so powerful that it's able to be moisiv on what is hinted in the Yetzer creation, that 7 days is enough. That's well known that 8 is connected with the Mispah. 8 is connected with Mashiach. There's a very famous tshuva from the Rashba, one of the Rishonim. And he says that Sheva is Shivas Yemei opinion, and he called the cycle of the whole creation, including Shabbat, even including the Yeliyah, which occurs on Shabbat. And Shmoyne is what he calls Yemei HaHeker. And Siddur says that's referring to Maki, that's referring to the Era Sevikol. So he says that, therefore, the Gemara brings him a sector Erechim, that the harp in the Beis Hamikdash, there was this big harp that the Levim used to play on. The harp that the Levim used to play on, hold on. Yeah, the harp that the Levim used to play had 7, what do you call it, big, what do you call it?
Strings.
What do you call the strings, you know, the harp. Had 7 of them. When Mashiach will come, it's going to have 8. Now, when it'll be Tchias HaMeisim, when it'll be the Beis HaMikdash will be even renewed, and different things are going to happen, even by Tchias HaMeisim, it's going to go up to 10. It's going to be a new harp, it's going to have 10. Yeah. And so the Friedrich Rebbe brings in a mind that 10 is connected to the Esesphiras HaGenuzas. The Esesphiras, but the Esesphiras Begoli, and then there's Esesphiras, what we call, the whole Ayin Beis is all about that. The Esesphiras HaGenuzas, what they're in Tzoyim Shalapnei Atzim Tuvukulu, but again Tzariches, that's going to be Miskal Opa. Yemoisha Mashiach, it's going to be 8. Because Yemoisha Mashiach is 8. It's the Makiv, which is beyond the whole Seder of Pnimis Oyim. And that's written, the amazing thing is that that's written in our Shur from the Rashba. I've looked up the Shur, Deutsch State, and he says that there's a Inyan from Shivas Yemei Abinyan, and then he says that there's a Inyan from Hechev, Sheshoim, what is he called? A Makiv, Sheshoimer is a Hechev. That there's something which is over and beyond that which is the normal cycle, and as it were, guards and looks after the whole. So the Friedrich Rebbe says, what does he say? Looks after and guards. He said, because the Makiv guards the whole world. We have no idea that if it weren't for the Makiv, who knows what should go. And the Makiv keeps away also to Vinyon. There's a Shmir, there's an old business, the Rebbe Marash about it also, in one of his Maimorim. But the Makiv is, and how do you get that Shmira working like Gabi yourself? Alidei mitzvahs. Alidei what you do, mitzvahs, yeah, then that Makiv guards you, it Mamash looks after you. As they say, that's one of the reasons why we have a Makiv for us when we don't. We put on a television, we put on children, it's also a Makiv. It sits on the head, it doesn't go into the head, it sits on the head. Except if you're the Alter Rebbe, you know, the Alter Rebbe said, by me the Tefillin sind ein Affenkopf und Innkopf. Ja. Oh, amazing. Readers that way, aber Twitten in Durham, it's a second, why is it? But by us it's Makiv. And so why do you put on all these Makivim before you're done? Because when all the Chitonium see you want to die, they also say, oh, he's going to be up to something good, let's get at him. And they want to chop you. You've got to be careful, they don't chop you even with all the Makivim. but if you have all these Makivim, then the Makivim say, no, nothing to it, and they drive them all away. And so Shemer and say, hey, even for Shmir.
Rashba was Mashma from the Rashba was a Mekubal?
All of them shame. Yeah, but the Rashba was a great man. He's got Chidushi Agodatas. He wrote on, appears on most of the Shas, or the whole of the Shas. He wrote, we don't have them, most of them didn't get to it, but on the sector Brochas, and maybe on one or two of the other sectors, there's a few pieces. And I have some of them in our Sefer. Yeah, big time. So he says, "U'v'doros v'acharenium, nitoishvu v'nizgale." That's the inif and the Shmoynes Yomim being shot to Mashiach. Yeah, to the harp, which is going to have another string added to it and everything. It all indicates the Yer HaSefer. So the Rebbe said that's the Yom Tevim, albeit they're great Yom Tevim, they come inside the Rabbanim, inside the Abidosim, Shelit Soil. But he said there's another Inyan. U'v'todos v'acharinim, nitoishvu v'nizgalu, gam hayomim tevim, the Teres HaTzeres. So there's a new Esofen, and a new addition, which occurred, and he said that's the Yom Tevim, Chag HaGeula shel Admor HaZochin, b'Yutes Kislev, Rosh Hashanah l'Chasidus, according to the famous letter from the Rebbe Rashab. He said, Chag HaGeula shel Admor Ham Tzoi, b'Yud Kislev. Yeah, that's also a Chag HaGeula, Ki Yadua. It wasn't, the first Yud Kislev wasn't a Yom because it was the day after the Istalkus of the Mittler Rebbe, but later on in the generations after was the Yud is also, how do you call it? It's Chag HaGeula. So the Rebbe said, what is that? He said, both of these days, Yud Kislev and Yud Kislev, they both indicate even from Pnimis Ater. I mean, Hanukkah's also got a lot of things about it which are connected with Pnimis Ater. So Hanukkah came about, mitzad inyonim Giluyim. That the Yidden fought for their Yiddishkeit, the Pashtus, and the Rabbanim, what they were the Koyach of Torah, they were Mechadish. Yesh b'zeh harbi Ramazim and Inyonim, B'pnimius, b'frat b'neget to Moshe. He said of the Inifan, the Alter Rebbe, and the Inifan Yudis Kislev is purely an Indian, Torah Sachsidas, and it's an Indian which was Nitoisiv, only mitzat Inifan Pnimius HaTorah. So he said, what is to Pnimius HaTorah? Because Hasheman Shebetoira. What is that? Yechida Shebetoira. In other words, the Sheman, it's one of Sheman is the highest form of Gilead Pnimis HaTorah, because Sheman floats even like wine. Wine will float ahead of the water, but it mixes with it slightly. But how do you call it? Sheman goes up on top of wine or water, and Sheman is the Etzem Pnimis HaTorah. So he said, that's the infant Yechida Shebetoira. And that Lashon Yechida Shebetoira, that's the Rebbe's own Lashon in the famous Kuntras, in Yonashal Torah Sachsidas, that when you learn Pnimis HaTorah, when you learn Chassidus, you come into in Torah, the Yechida, the Etzem Inyan from Gilui HaTorah, Shal Yidei Hafatzosa, but through the spreading, Chutza, Osima, Do Malchus Mashiach, but through the spreading of Torah Chassidus, the Baal Shem Tov heard from Moshiach. That's what Moshiach said to the Baal Shem Tov. If you spread it out, then I'm going to come. Do Malchus Mashiach. But Venus HaYechida Sheben Neshamas Yisrael, like we said. Moshiach is the Yechida Sheben Neshamas Yisrael. He's going to come. All of Ne'ema, Matzosi, David Abdi, B'Shemen, Kochi Mishachti. I'm going to anoint him with Shemen. That Shemen is in from you know the famous story. The Rashabim is done in the Sefer Torah Shalom. It was one of the big Chassidim. What was his name? I forgot his name. One of the big Chassidim in the town of the Tzemach Tzedek, he was Marshak. Forgotten his name. And he one of the really famous Chassidim, that he said that if there'll come a person and everybody will say he's Moshiach, and he'll run around and be Mechai Mason, your mamish take Mason and make them live, he said, I'm not going to be convinced that that's Moshiach. He said, pretty high stuff, but I'm not yet convinced. He said, Iber wird's wegsetzen. Mit Singen und Nigen, und sagen Chassidus. He said, well, he said, I'm going to know that he said. That's the Indian, B'Shemen Kochi Mishachti. He's going to be anointed with the Shem, he's going to say something. That's the Indian from Matzos. In another place, it's not so much that the Indian Matzos is a Matzia. A Matzia is something, it's unforeseeable. You didn't know you were going to find that. A Matzia also indicates something beyond the normal state. The whole Penias of Mashiach is going to be Matzos, he told us. A Indian from Lamaila Mishtalshus like that. So he says, says the Rebbe, שכבר נשכבל ונשפשת בתפוצת ישראל. It's already been spreading out and been received in all the different parts of the Golas, וmoishe v'hoilech, and it's adding and going the whole time. שchodesh Kislev nikar chodesh HaGeula. It's a custom now by Yidden Umatum that they all call Kislev chodesh HaGeula. Hecher mi Rosh Chodesh. And all that begins from Chodesh Kislev is the whole month. and particularly and especially the Inim Rosh Chodesh. Yekisu shekoilu kol yimei hachodesh. Like we just said, Rosh Chodesh of Geula. And all these inyanim we said, according to this minhag Yisrael, get a gushmanka, a stamp from the fact that you didn't call it Chodesh HaGeula. In other words, all the things we found in Rosh Chodesh, about the Geula, gradually spreading out and being accepted by all Yidden, and therefore the Rosh Chodesh Kislev got the Meile, that it's like the Rosh, the cup, and the beginning of the whole thing, like we said. Neisef al Shaychas HaKloli is the Geula Lechidish Alavona, Yeshev Kol Rosh Chodesh. What we said before, there's a whole remnants to the Geula, but the fact that you didn't call the whole Chodesh HaGeula, it's become a minhag Yisrael, but that's like an extra indication of the whole thing. He said, "Ubat Goshi Yisera Rosh Chodesh Kislev." And that's got a special emphasis on Rosh Chodesh Kislev, like we said before, Kei Slamet Bob, that in the Helam is already the whole Gilui, already there, right? He said, Shemoire ala Chidesh to Yisrael, Shasidim Leishchadish Kemoiza. But all this fact that you didn't call it Chodesh HaGeula and everything, all that indicates why, because Yidden are waiting and they're living every moment with the fact that they're going to become also new, like the Levana, in a complete form of new birth altogether when Mashiach will come. But be as David, malchus Mashiach, genau Simon Beis. Aber mehr, das ist das Yidden, hätte ich gesagt, Stutz Charum. We're in Chodesh Kislev. We already passed Rosh Chodesh. We didn't pass it, Chasson.
Close to
We've been
you.
through Rosh Chodesh. We've got all these things now hammering away.
Next week is
With all the case law, Lamed Bob, and all these, and all die von Matzasi, David, Avdi, and Pnimis Atera, and all the good Sachen. And Shmoyne is coming up, and the ganze Ding. And well, it's all there in every day. It's Chodesh Kislev. That's the amazing Indian. It's pretty hot stuff.
Because in the order, the general number, we have 8 neiros. We have 8 neiros of Hanukkah. It says in the order, the Mispah Kloli is Lamed Vov.
Yeah,
amount.
the neiros are also
The amount we use altogether, all the lights, all the candles.
If you put all the lights together, you get
Add them up, you get Lamed Vov. You get 36.
Yeah. You get
Very nice. Very nice.
Great. Case layer.
Case layer. Han.
That's right.
The night is young.
The Rebbe is going to say a bit further on. I should fill it together. The Rebbe is going to say that when something gets born, it's a tinok, it's like a cotton. And it's brought down in Dilma Mitzvah. The Rebbe quotes there from a great Rishon, where he was called the Rebbeinu Shimshon Milu Navil or something like that. He even mentions his name in Dilma Mitzvah. It's written about him that he says that, he was a big makul. He was a makul of the God. He used to be Isaac, even at the time of the Rishonim, in Kabbalah and all about the Esesphiras and everything. He said, he writes, when he davens ketzaz zeh hatinok. He davens.
Shirsh mitzvah tefillah.
Yeah, it's what I'm doing.
Shirsh mitzvah tefillah.
Huh?
Shirsh mitzvah tefillah.
Yeah, sure. The
beginning.
He said he davens ketzaz zeh hatinok. So he knows all the Kabbalah, but when he starts davening, he goes back to be like a tinok. So the Rebbe says, what's the mile of a tinok? I mean, if he knew all the Esesphiras, he knew everything, and he was a big London and all that, why did he look to do and daven like a tinok? So the Rebbe said, what's the chilek between a godel, a grown person, particularly East London, but he was a terror, and a cotton, a mamish a tinok? What's the difference? He said, when you daven, the Sifri tells you that you have to daven to the Eibusha and not to the spirit. You've got to be very careful. Some study quotes but afterwards you got to unite the malchus with the spheres, and it's a whole big, you got to know really what you're doing. So he said, you got to be ikeh, you got to be basic in what you know, but what's not. You got to be careful. It's not this, it's not that. I'm davening not to this, not to that. I'm not listening only to this madrigal. I'm going and I'm trying to sort of find the Eibusher. I'm trying to get out of all the protim and reach the Atzma. He said, it could be your matzeh, it could be your lesson.
What was that?
It could be your lesson.
More successful or less successful?
It's a big job. And that's what the Rebbe Rashab calls hasogas hashlilo, that you all the time as it were negating and going higher. He said, how about Tinoi? Tinoi doesn't know about the Spirit, he doesn't know all, he doesn't know what to negate. Yeah, he only knows one thing. He knows there's a Rabbeinu Shalom. He doesn't even know about Atzmas U'Mahuz. He brings the Rebbe that the expression Atzmas U'Mahuz is also like a way of referring to the Eibusher. He said he doesn't know that you're referring to the Eibusher. He just knows that going straight to him. You know? When a tinei davens, he goes straight. Even l'mayla me atzmas u'mahuz. That's what the Rebbe says. The truth is that a tinei has got this unbelievable mind of davki, not having to negate anything. He's tactless of positivity. He goes right to right to what you call to the bullseye. He goes right to the real atzmas, to the real machoy. This person, Rabbi Shimshon, in Luneville, exactly what his name was, I've forgotten. He was an unbelievable Mekubo, but he knew that secret. And he knew that you got to get through all the madrigas, and to daven, you got to kilu, as it were, forget madrigas. Because madrigas are giluim. That's what
the same as Tachlis HaYidei Shelo Neida. Is that also?
That's what we spoke about this one. Very nice. Tachlis HaYidei Shelo Neida. We've got to, get through. He knew that, and he said, Halavai, he prayed for himself that he should be able to pray like a tinner. Yeah. In other words, that he should be able to go straight to beyond Atzmas U'Mahuz without the assistance and without this having to negate and go through different giluim. It's absolutely, that's what the Rebbe says here. He really liked children, the whole he was really a favorite.
Is that what we call davening with Amunah?
That's a davening with Amunah? Yeah. To a certain extent, yes. In other words, that davening is not, how do you call it? Davening is a seeking for the Boire Oil. You know what I mean? Davening is getting to him.
So what's the ma'ala?
Why do we need to know all these things in the middle?
That's what the Polishers say we don't need to.
It would be better maybe if we didn't know all these things. We don't like the tinnish.
The Polish Hasidim say.
So what did you gain? What did you gain? If the when you end, you daven like a tino with the moon. So what did you waste? Why?
So the answer to that is like this. That Moshe quoted, Tachlis HaYidei Shelo Neida. The whole ultimate purpose of all knowledge is to reach that what we don't know. That's the simple pshat. So from that it's understandable that you have to have Yediyah. But you've got to know that the ultimate tachlis of that Yediyah is the Leina. You shouldn't stick with the idea. And from that it's mashma that if you have the ability to go beyond Yediyah, and then the fact that you had Yediyah adds immeasurably into you going beyond Yediyah. You got that there? It's like it's put down in our base, it's in what's atomic. There's some people that Tmim B'Teva, people, they don't know how to be mishaker or to say the wrong thing. It's me, Mr. Commenting. So So the Rebbe Rashab said that's good, but it's what he calls over there tibias dike tmimus. Tibias dik, that's the expression. Sort of from the Torah. But he says, what is emes tmimus? When you do know about Elokus and you have understood and you do have a soga, and then you decide to be a Tom. You decide, as we go beyond all that and become a Tmimus Dika, he said, then that puts a new dimension into the Tmimus. The whole Tmimus is another Tmimus, and it reaches into higher kesher with the aim of the Tmimus, which is Atzmas, more than if he didn't have any idea before.
Yaakov, Ish Tom. Yaakov was an Ish Tom, a true Ish Tom.
Yaakov was a Ish Tom, the whole reason.
Is that
And yet he
But
was
he was able to act like someone.
He was the emissary to Yaakov. But we see that when it came to it's in the Parsha, when it came to the point he could dray even better than Lord.
No.
He drayed out Lord. I mean that's a pretty advanced task. There's a simon that if you add first of all your dear, that means something. That makes your not your dear much richer and much better. Exactly why and how, basically you read this out of a kachas. It's an amazing thing. If you look up over there on our base, it's amazing. And he says the emissary Tomim is someone that has Yediyah, and he's into Yediyah, and he works to understand it, or he comes to a point where he's prepared to go beyond that. And, he's prepared to go completely beyond that, then it's another type of Tmimus. Those are the Tmimus Adrusha. So that's what Tompe Tmimus demanded. It's a pretty close one. So it's the same thing. Davkidis Rabbeinu Shimshon, he was the one that said he would like to know Ladasa. He had all the knowledge, and he was prepared to put it all aside in order to daven. But then his idea of getting close to the very etzem of the atzmas was different. He was Rabbeinu Shimshon. It's an Ishbosh. And that's what the Rav Mar says. And Chaim, what's his name? Chaim Poison. He said, well, that's not only in Hemshech Kocha, he was trying to dig some with me, and there's other places where they come from the Hemshech Kocha. It's in Hemshech Kocha in B'Shem HaShlor. And the Rebbe brings it down here further in these Sichas. The Rebbe brings it from two others for him. The Rebbe's Bekiyas is just unbelievable. The Rebbe Maras brings it down to Shlor. The Rebbe finds two other Rishonim, but they also say the same thing. And Tachlis HaYediyah Shaloi Noida is the Tachlis, meaning like the idea of the aim or the goal. Or the Tachlis of all the Yediyah is even the Loi Noida. You've got to know even that which is not. Even that which is not knowable, you've got to know. Tachlis HaYediyah.
It's a new deal.
That's what he says over there in the Hemshech Kocha.
Rabbi, Rabbi.
That's amazing. In other words, you got to know everything. I feel the Leinoida. So just imagine somebody who holds by that, he really got a sogas and very high madrigas and Elokus. And when he puts all that aside, and he goes on for the aspect, just imagine what an act that is. And just imagine how the Eibishter recognizes it.
He enjoys it, huh?
I'm sorry.
Doesn't the Yid elevates the concept, and then the concept elevates the Yid?
Oh, very nicely put. Yeah. The concept elevates it. Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong. From which, why would we? Because the concept is also eloquent. If we're just talking about any old idea, any old time, you know, that's another thing. We were talking about the Pnimis HaTorah, the Hatzoge, the Pnimis HaTorah, that itself is godly. The Etzem HaSoge is Elikus. Or remember, you're just going from one level in Elikus to a more pshitas together. And therefore, like you said very nicely, the concept elevates you.
It's the distinction between Hakma Nashi and divine wisdom.
I'm sorry?
It's the distinction between Hakma Inoshi and divine wisdom, godly wisdom.
Yes.
A big difference.
There's a tremendous hebdel. And therefore the divine wisdom is itself Elikus. And that's what the Rebbe says in Tanya, in Perigimu, that all of the koiches, nefesh, are all mishtal shel from the Esesphere. Which means that when you use your nefesh elokis to understand, a divine koich is working. So what can you give a divine koich? You have to give him divinity. You can't give him wine to drink that he's not made for. You follow? He'll vomit it. It's a dish game. And the Etzem HaSoge is divinity. And therefore you step from divinity into divinity.
But each person has gradations, different levels. This happens on...
And therefore you'll find that in Periktes, in Tanya, where the Alter Rebbe talks about Ava B'Tanugim, but that's the highest possible Ava you can reach, to the highest possible socket. He says, Kol Echo Lefi Hasagosa. It doesn't matter. You know, some people are able to get to bigger lights than what others are. But since you mean Elach, and you want to use your koiches, your nefesh elokis for Elikus. So, you know, each one according to his inyan. So, everybody...
Like Ma'idecho.
Ma'idecho. Oh, bueno. Or Ma'idecho, how much you care.
Can I ask a Klatzkasha? A Klatzkasha. It says, you said the moon is going to be bigger than the sun.
Huh?
In the time of the Geula, the moon is going to be bigger than the sun.
Is going to be as big or bigger.
The moon is going to be bigger.
The moon.
Yeah.
So it's going to stay, or it's how are we going to count the months?
How many times is coming?
How are we going to count the months? How are we going to
What can happen a month?
That's a very good question.
Mashiach will not.
Listen, all I can say is it's very hard to know what it's going to be. The Rambam says we don't know what it's going to be. Even with everything we say, we don't know what it's going to be like. So I would suggest to you that when Mashiach will come, there's not going to be any answer.
But the first mitzvah in the Torah, is a Chodesh Hazeh. No? The first mitzvah of Chodesh Torah.
Yeah, but Yesh Loim, maybe the months will be like a Zikov, you know, they'll be like a COVID to all the Avodah that did all the generations. But the Etzem Gilui of Mashiach will be L'mayla than months. Kach Yesh L'mayla. Kach Yesh L'mayla. You remember, mit auch gut betrachten das. In other words, it's going to be such a big time that everything we think we know, so can
be like, we don't know.
Tag ze idee shelo neda.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's another thing. One thing I know is that I don't know anything.
Huh?
Well, one thing I do know is that I don't know anything.
Oh, it's good. You reach there, but you got to know what you can.
Right.
And then you can
That would be
say,
unknowable.
It's constantly,
give me the das of a tin.
it's constantly changing. The more you learn, you know, and then you. Gafne's there.
This Beit Shimshai. The Tzom Tzedek writes that Gidoili HaMekubolim. And he used to say, Hineni Mishparu Kedah Zeh HaTinei. All right, guys. So there you had your Farbrengen. We didn't have much mashkil down there, but it was a bit of a Farbrengen.
Real Hasidim can verbring without malchus.
Yeah,
As I was the older,
yeah.
or a very tiny bit.
Reb Zalman Leib Sterling, he used to say, he remembers that there were times when there was no mashke in Ruslan. Yeah. So the Chassidim used to say, well, if I bring in one mashke, and they said, every now and then we'll remember the model for mashke.
That's like the time of Mashiach.
Yeah, yeah,
Remember.
exactly. B'diuk. Giving himself away from my role altogether. But that must be a back. That when you learn, you return to your learning, it's also much. Some other time, you learn in a way where you're concerned about the kavanah. You're not just concerned to understand, but you want to carry out through that understanding. Of course, we live. This is good. That's really good. The Rebbe Rashab said he wanted that all the Rabbonis in Russian should be from what he said, Unsere Yingelai. That was what he said.
So what?
Unsere Yingelai. He meant, the Talmudim. He one day should become the Pope. Because a Hasidic Rav, he's not just interested in holding his position and paskening and maybe, that he could be moitzechein by in the plane of a chulu, that he's worried about the kavanah here. He's even given a worse down and torn in the world, Kedei Zol Ram Moshiach, Zol Angilel Kuz. That's what he's worried. That's another evening altogether. That's the move back the other way from the Tminas, back into the learning.
Back into?
Into the learning, into the Hasod. It becomes another type of Hasod. It's not just that you want to understand the image of the Hasod, you want to understand how that Hasod leads to Kavanah. It's I should put it close. And I can tell, I think I've already told you the story. I can tell a story about that, but I've already told the story. It doesn't matter to tell it again. And then, I think maybe I'm feeling a bit tired, but anyway, I'll tell you the story. You've already heard the story, so you can schmoz if you want.
No, I just want to hear.
It's okay. What's it, the story? When I first came to Eretz, I went to a Yidin who was living in Kwachabad. His name was Rav Glasman, Rav Yitzchak Glasman, that was his name. And he was a Mechutin, with Rav Zalman Manashpir. So he said, when you get to Kwachabad, before you get organized with your lawyer and you start organizing, go in and give him a greeting from me.
Which zone is this? Zalman?
Zerbransky.
Zalman.
He said, you go and give him a greeting because he's now Mechutin. So I was Mekayim Divrei Rabbi, and I went to this person. So he was an amazing associate. He was Guru Krishna. So anyway, he learned in Tom Chetwin. And he remembers the Rebbe Rashab and everything. He passed away.
You talking about Zalman Sarabransky?
No, I'm talking about this Robin.
Westman.
So I get to know him, and we sort of, he starts telling me a few little things, a few little niceties, a hint and a half. So he says to me that after he finished learning Yerodea, like a lot of the Bochum did in the Zal, the Rebbe Rayatz called him in and said that his father had told him that he should tell him that he's got to learn Dayonis, he's got to learn Even Ezer, not just Yerodea.
Rabbi Rashab.
Yeah, Rebbe Rashab told the Rebbe Rayatz to tell him he's got to learn Dayonis. He's got to be like a Dayon. They always say you got to learn Dayonis. You don't say learn day and night for months. And eventually he knew Even Ezer, and he went to Bechinas and all things. He got a Dayonis. So there was a whole union that all of a sudden he hears that the Rebbe Rayatz is calling him to his office. Yeah, he starts shouting a bit, he's been called to Rebbe Rayatz's office. Anyway, he goes in, and he said, the cloud, Rebbe Rayatz has got oh, you're leaving, eh? You have to go. Yeah. Okay. How am I going to get home? Oh, my sugar. Wait. So he's also got to go. Call to him. So, he's all shaking. So he says, listen, you should realize that there's a shayla coming to my father in Beklau, into the area. There's a lady that she's on a guna. And we're not sure exactly what's with her and the whole thing. In Manila, there's it's a big question about her getting married, to remarry. There the husband died. It's a very famous question. It's called gunas. So he said, my father wants that you should write your chavas das about your opinion. How can he said he's just taken out the Dayonis, he said, we've still got a few weeks. It's not burning on the moment, So we want you to give it us. So he learns for weeks, and when he finds out about the whole thing, and he asks all the questions, and he does different authorities and different Rabbonim attached. And you have to remember, I think he was just a younger man after the Chasana, or he maybe was still a bocher at this point, I'm not sure. But he was young. Wow. Mm-hmm. And the kid said he works away, and he writes down, like in the form of a tshuva, like a few pages, what his opinion is about the whole thing. So he comes back to the Friedrich Rebbe, and he asks if he can have an interview with the Friedrich Rebbe. And then they tell him, come in at this and this time. And he comes in, the Friedrich Rebbe is sitting there, also very mildly sticking out. So he comes in, and his head's shaking a bit, and he gives it to Friedrich Rebbe. This is what he told me. He told me the story. He said the Friedrich Rebbe picked up and put on his glasses, And he starts reading the whole children, shura by shura, you can see he's reading. And he's sitting there like that. So anyway, he said the Friedrich finishes reading the whole chura, and he sort of puts it down from him on the table, and just in front of him was a packet of cigarettes. So all of a sudden the Friedrich picks up the packet of cigarettes, and with his thumb he pushed one cigarette like out of it, and then he went, wait just a minute, you should take the cigarette. So he paused for a moment. He didn't know, he didn't quite understand, he was so overtaken from the whole thing. And he didn't smoke. So he sort of, for a moment, he sort of hesitated. He didn't quite know, what does this mean, what's happening? So the Friedrich waited for a second, and all of a sudden the Friedrich said, no, autograph. So he realized that, this is no messing around. So he takes the cigarettes, and he sort of puts it in his pocket. So the Friedrich sort of smiled very slightly, there was a slight smile went up the Friedrich's face. And he said, confiscate. He said, you can go now. And so you can go. So he leaves. So he realized that the fact that the Friedrich offered him a cigarette,
that was a
Skaparusa, a nachasruach, a sign of nachas, the whole thing. So then he heard a few days or a week or so, that there's a whole deal amongst the Rabbonim, and that the Rebbe Rashab had said that there's a mir hoben a younger dayon, and that he said kach about the matter, and they showed in front of the Rabbonim what a Talmud from Tolchei Tmim, Roland Dayonas, what he says about it.
Wow.
Yeah. It just shows that. So then he told me that, a period of time, later, a short period of time, he gets a notice that this time he's got a yechidus with the Rebbe Rashab. He's got to go to the Rebbe Rashab himself. So he completely, he's almost fainting, And anyway, he comes into the yechidus with the Rebbe Rashab, and the Rebbe Rashab says to him, listen, he said, there's a small town in Bolzgrizhny or someplace, in Russia, and he said, there's a small town over there. He said that either the Rebbe is, they have a role over there, but he's retired, or he's passed away. And he said, it's Panui, there's a Rabbonos sham. So he said, uns wollen mehr, we want that you should take the Rabbonos. That's what he says to him, that you have to go there and take the Rabbonos. So all of a sudden he looks at the Rebbe Rashab and he says, Rebbe, ich hab moira. That's what he told us.
I'm scared.
And he said, Rebbe, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
So what does he mean with that? He's afraid of the lions over there or something, or he's afraid of the Russians, or who's he afraid of? What he meant was he doesn't want to take on the achrayas
of Paskin.
Because, who knows what is the kavanah elyon? You got Paskin is a shrekl chazak. You got to be able to
make a terrible mistake.
It's a kavanah. So that's what he said to the Rabbi Yechomar. So he said the Rebbe Rashab looked at him from home. Then all of a sudden the Rebbe Rashab smiled, a big smile. And he said, when the Rebbe Rashab smiled, if he was, prior to that, he was very, he was like,
tense.
He was like as if the whole shemesh had come out, the whole sun had come up from behind the clouds, and also, and he said, look at the Rebbe smiled. So, the Rebbe smiled, and he said, "Woshe soll ich schicken einer, was hat nicht kein Moira?"
You want me to send somebody who has no fear, or no Yerushalayim?
I should send somebody who's not afraid. I'm sorry. I should then send somebody who's not afraid.
It'd be a wild.
Floored him. That floored him altogether. And he knew what the Rebbe meant. I'm tough because I know you have that fear. what is the Kavan Aliyah? That's what I'm sending him. So all he did, he sort of paused for a while, and then he said, Rebbe, when do I go? That's what he said.
Kabbalah so.
I heard it from him, he told me.
He was the one there himself, he was the dyer, that was the...
And he went, until he came down, so he was all right.
It says that if the Rebbe Rashab would smile,
Yeah.
he could get anything he wanted, so he never smiled.
What was this?
It says that the Rebbe Rashab had such a magnetic smile that he could get anything he wanted. So he never smiled.
Could be.
This time he did.
Yeah.
You saw that written? Yeah. They say it was something
Very, yeah.
very unusual when he smiled.
Well, the whole Tkufa, that period of time with the Chassidim was a very much higher level than...
Anyway, that's what I heard the Master. So that's the Indian of how the Tamimas works back the other way, into the Torah. And the Torah permeates into the learning. And you say, Rabbi, it's a very amazing story. I remember I walked out and I was just, my whole cock and my whole feelings were all swollen with the Master. It was a big privilege to meet him.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Ki Adonenu, Marinu v'Rabbeinu, Melech HaMashiach, De'Adonenu Bo. Ki Adonenu, Marinu v'Rabbeinu, Melech HaMashiach, De'Adonenu Bo.
Good guys. Have a good